What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today we're back here with the Who's Winning the Division series. And yeah, it has been a while since we last did one of these, but I got busy with other videos, so here we are back with the series. And this time we are going to be covering the AFC North. So you guys can probably tell from the title, what the series is about. But of course, before you get started, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here so you do not miss out on videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will finally do a face reveal. Plus, it would really mean a lot to me if we could, reach our goal. But yeah, with that being said, let's just get this video started. And the first team I want to go over is the Cleveland Browns, and the 2020 season will be one to remember for Browns fans. I mean, they went 11-5 and then took a massive on their division rival, Pittsburgh Steelers, en route to a playoff win. Please don't kill me for that, YouTube. Anyways, the future in the Portland is really bright. The offense is one of the best in the league, with Baker Mayfield under center, a monstrous running back duo in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, an absolutely fantastic wide receiver core with Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, plus a great tight end trio of Austin Hooper, David Njoku, and Harrison Bryant. Seriously, that's a great tight end trio. Anyways, and we should also go over the cherry on top, which is one of the best offensive lines in the league. Simply put, the Browns offense, it's amazing. If you guys couldn't tell, yeah, it is amazing. The Browns offense is just flat out amazing. Now, the defense, well, last season, it was not good, finishing 21st as a unit overall. But hey, they made a lot of improvements to that defense. As in free agency, they picked up Troy Hale and John Johnson. Along with that, they brought in Jadeveon Clowney. And it didn't stop there, as in the draft, they were able to acquire Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And we should mention that that they are also one of the best coach teams in the league, as they have the reigning coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. So the Browns have a lot of good things about them. The Browns have a very talented roster, a great coach, and if the defensive coordinator can use the talent that's given to him, well, and he can, then the defense should definitely improve. And if the offense plays like how they did last year, maybe even better, this team will be scary, especially if the defense improves, which I do expect it to improve. I mean, all I can say is the Browns next year will be a very good team, and not only could they win the AFC North, but I do think they can compete with the likes of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills for the 1 seed in the AFC. All I can say is that they will be very good. Anyways, moving on, we now got the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens in 2020, they were pretty good. Not as dominant as their 2019 selves, but that's really hard to, repeat year after year. And they were still pretty good. They had themselves a good season, going 11-5, and like the Browns, and they won their very first playoff game in the Lamar Jackson era, beating the rival Tennessee Titans. So it was a pretty good season for Baltimore, and they still have a strong roster with one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Lamar Jackson under center. Plus, they got a great running back duo in J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, one of the best tight ends in the NFL in Mark Andrews, plus a pretty strong defense led by the likes of Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark, and Tyus Bowser, plus more. Anyways, however, as good as the team was last season, the Ravens definitely had their concerns. For one thing, the air attack, it was really bad last season, as they ranked dead last in passing offense, and a lot had to do with the fact that, well, they had a pretty mediocre receiving core outside of Mark Andrews. They also did lose Matthew Judon and Yannick Ngakoue in free agency, which really weakened the pass rush and defense, of course. And unfortunately, they could not make a lot of big free agent splashes aside from, acquiring Kevin Zeitler from the Giants. Well, they signed him, and they also signed Sammy Watkins, who was a former Kansas City Chiefs. However, in the draft, they were able to make quite a bit of splashes. Now, they did send Orlando Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs, but they were able to acquire some good draft capital with it. And in the draft, they were able to take Rashad Bateman and Oklahoma State's Tylan Wallace to help improve the receiving core, and the pass rush was also addressed by taking Penn State's Odafe Jason Owe. Oh yeah, we should also even add that the secondary got even better, as they selected Shaun Wade from Ohio State. The Ravens' passing attack, I definitely think, will be better next season, especially if Marquise Brown can take another big leap in his game. However, we should also take into account that these are just rookies, so they could very well not pan out. But if the Ravens' pass rush is solid and the passing attack is at least above average, and the running game is still one of the best in the league, and Lamar Jackson continues to be Lamar Jackson, and Greg Roman hopefully has a lot less predictable offense and is a much better offensive coordinator, the Baltimore Ravens could be a very good team, just like the Cleveland Browns, and I do think they can definitely reclaim the AFC North title in 2021. But moving on, we now got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, of course, are the reigning AFC North champions. And one would think that with them being one of the reigning AFC North champions, that the 2020 season would be a pretty good one for the Steel City. However, that is not exactly the case, and one would also think that they are the favorites to win it again. As the Steelers, they infamously started out the season 11-0 before melting like ice cream and dropping 4 of their last 5 games. And of course, they ended their season by proceeding to get their by the Cleveland Browns. However, as much as I like to clown the Pittsburgh Steelers myself, and as much as many people love to clown the Pittsburgh Steelers, they still have a very decent and solid team. And they still got a case to win it. They got a strong receiving core with Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, and newly acquired tight end Pat Freiermuth. The defense is also very strong. They are led by TJ Watt, Stephon Tuitt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Joe Hayden. And the coaching, it's also pretty good. Mike Tomlin, I'd say he's a pretty good coach. However, they definitely got their issues. First off, we should mention that they lost valuable contributors in free agency like Bud Dupree, Mike Hilton, James Conner, and Alejandro Villanueva. The biggest concern has to easily be the quarterback play. Big Ben, he is nearing retirement and the clock is ticking, and there are a lot of doubts about Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph, and if they can be the guys to help lead, Pittsburgh to winning seasons, and there's a lot of doubts if they can be if either one of them can be a franchise quarterback. Not only that, but the run game last season was really bad, as it ranked dead last in the league in rushing offense. Now, I will say, to the credit of Pittsburgh, that they drafting Najee Harris was a pretty good move to help try and help fix the run game. However, we should take into account that the offensive line is also very sus, and yeah, they definitely made a few good pickups in the draft. However, we still do not know how good the run game or the offensive line will be, and we don't know how good the quarterback play will be because, the run game and the running back and the offensive lineman, the additions I did mention, in the draft, of course, they're rookies, and we don't know how good they will be. However, if the Steelers' run game is at least decent, if the Steelers' quarterback play is at least average, and if the offensive line is at least average, then Pittsburgh might actually be able to, repeat as AFC North champions. However, it is not going to be an easy task. But the final team we now have is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, you might be thinking, I'm just trying to waste your time here, but I do think there is a very small chance that the Bengals could maybe win the AFC North. Now, Cincinnati last season, they only won 4 games, and despite that, they're still one of the best young up-and-coming teams in the league. Joe Burrow, he had a really good rookie year when he was healthy. Joe Mixon, he's going to be coming back healthy and is one of the best backs in the league. Plus, the wide receiving core is going to be scary with a trio of Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and number 5 overall pick, Jamar Chase. Now, the defense, I'd say it's bad. It was bad last season, but they definitely have good pieces in Jesse Bates, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, Larry Ogunjobi, and Joseph Asai. But the biggest factor for Cincinnati is the offensive line. It was really bad last season. It really was. And they were a big part in Joe Burrow's rookie year being cut short. Now, the Cincinnati, they did an alright job by addressing the offensive line. They bring in Riley Reef in free agency, and in the draft, they were able to pick up a few offensive linemen like Jackson Carman. I really do feel like the offensive line would be much better had they taken Penei Sewell, but it is what it is. it is what it is, I guess. And the entire Bengals season really lies in, the fate of their season really lies in the hands of their offensive line. Because if the offensive line and the defense, if it is at least average, and the offense, is good as advertised and as good as their talent level says they should be, well, Cincinnati could actually be a pretty scary and pretty good team. Now, I don't think they will be like a premier contender, but they could definitely be like at least a near playoff team. The offense has a lot of potential to be one of the best in the league, and I think the offense alone should be enough to keep them in most games. And if the defense is average and if the offensive line is average, Cincinnati could just be a real sleeper. I think you guys get the point. But again, it all really just depends on one thing: the offensive line, and I'd say the defense too. But anyways, with all four of those teams laid out, who do I ultimately have winning the AFC North? Now, I know this might be a little bit unpopular, but I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. Simply put, the Browns, they got it all. They got a talented roster. It's really talented. A good quarterback. They're well balanced. They're also very well coached. Plus, we saw how good Cleveland was with the bad defense. So imagine what they can do with a good defense, especially with the 100% Odell Beckham Jr. And if they can implement him into the offense right, and he starts playing, getting back to like his old self, well, the offense will just be even scarier. Now, you might be wondering, Rahul, why did you not select a team like the Baltimore Ravens? I mean, the Ravens, they've won the AFC North in the past 2 years. Well, they won in 2019, but the reason why I think the Ravens, to me, had the second highest odds at taking the AFC North crown. They definitely made some nice additions to the wide receiver core and the pass rush, but they are rookies. We do need to keep that in mind, and there's a chance they do not end up panning out, so they are not very certain. And simply put, I think the Browns really improved as a team, and to be honest, they could be the 1 seed next year. Now, that's not to really discredit like how good the Ravens, Steelers, or Bengals can be, but personally, I just got the Cleveland Browns winning this division. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys a lot for watching. It really means a lot to me. If you guys are new and enjoyed the content on here, make sure to hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here so you do not miss out on videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will finally do a face reveal. Also, it would really mean a lot to me. But yeah, with that being said, I'm out, you guys.